All right. If you do want to incorporate 3D and perspective into your um, poster designs, and I know we're a little late in the game to be doing this, but I just want to show you where they're located. You basically have two options here. Let me take my Coachella type here. So option one is to find the 3D tools up here in the effect drop-down menu. And I think I went over these. Did I go over these right? And just to remember, the one you probably want to use is 3D Classic. And what that will do is allow you to, I guess it would help if I selected this first. I would suggest using the classics because the reason for that is no matter what you do, this was still going to be a vector that you can play with on here. If you open these control panels and they're all the same, what I would do is come down here to more options. This will allow you, because obviously my type went really dark when I put it into this perspective. I can, in theory, play with the lighting on here and make it lighter or darker on here. And again, you can still keep working with this. So that's option one. Um, and just remember, if you use any of these 3D effects, what you're looking at when you're done is a preview image of this. Um, Illustrator actually hasn't done anything to this yet. So you're just looking at a preview image in here. But what I will show you is if you use the classic 3D in here, you are still going to get really sharp vector edges on everything. So you can size this up and down. I can make a billboard out of it, um, and it will still be really clear. What's happened a lot lately is 2 years ago, Adobe added in new effects. So if you come down here to 3D and materials, and if you go to basically any of these, the controls are slightly different on here. And with this, you're given some controls actually on the artboard where you can rotate this around and adjust the angles on it here. You can adjust the perspective on here. The one thing they call it here, let me see. So the one thing they call it here is taper for perspective on here. So the big thing just to be aware of and why people get really fascinated with this, and I totally get it, is the addition in here was some other special effects like being able to create inflated type on here or coming up here and putting some different materials on here. The only drawback if you do use these materials is when you zoom in on this, what you'll see is it's no longer vectors. This is now all pixelated. So it can look really cool on your poster, but realistically, as a designer, if I did this, but I know Coachella was going to take out a bunch of billboards along the 10 freeway advertising it, I would be really concerned that if I blow this up, you're going to see all the pixels just bigger on here. So if you've never used the 3D effects on here before, I would probably stick with the classic ones that will keep it in vector format on here. And let me take it back. And then, so that's option one for 3D. The other option you have is to use the built-in perspective grid in Illustrator. And it's over here in the control panel. This will give you the things you need to do linear perspective in here. So it will automatically put this grid in the middle of the page. You can actually move it around wherever you want that works for you. It automatically defaults to 2-point perspective, but if you come up here under view and go down to perspective grid, you can also choose to do 1-point perspective. Again, so that's like the train tracks, or you can do 3-point perspective, in which here you have the option to drop this third vanishing point either below, or you can raise it up above on here. But for the demo, I'm going to stick to 2D. And the way it works, why am I type? There we go. Um, you have everything you need here for linear perspective. Number one, you need the horizon line here, and here you can manipulate it. If you lower it really low, then it's more like you're looking up at something and you can make it look more heroic. If you throw it up really high, then it's going to be like you're looking down on everything from the sky. You also have two vanishing points here automatically. As I mentioned, the vanishing points don't have to be on the board. You can take them all the way off somewhere if you want to on here. And the thing that confuses people here is these grids. You have three grids, the blue grid, the orange grid, and then on this case, the green grid is the bottom here. They correspond to this little cube up here in the corner. Whichever color is lit up, so in this case blue, that means the blue side of this is active. If I click here, it'll be the orange side. Click here, it'll be the bottom, the green side down there. And these grids, you can move them around. They operate kind of like barn doors, where you can decide where you want the perspective on these particular ones. And then to use the perspective grid, it has its own selection tool. So if you go over here to the grid tool, click and hold it down, you'll see the perspective selection tool. So I've got that tool selected. I've got the blue grid activated. So if I click on my logo and copy it, it will automatically put it in perspective on that blue grid, no matter where I put it. As it goes farther away from you, it's going to get smaller. As it gets closer to you, it'll get bigger on here. If I want to use the orange grid, what you do is you come over here and switch to that side on the cube. And again, you can go and place this wherever you want in perspective. Could you do the green grid as well? Sure. Keep in mind what you're doing is advertising. So, if it isn't readable, it's not going to be terribly helpful for you for advertising. So, and I know a lot of you aren't going to use this. I just wanted to give you kind of a brief demo on this or remind you that it's out there. If you do want to use any of these 3D effects, feel free to call me over and I'll walk you through how to do it. Does anyone have any questions?